Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa, and thank you to our fabulous band, which we have Astra Fox with us today as well, and Atreyu and Francisco and Brett and Nick, and they're amazing, and they've got some wonderful stuff for you today. I am Reverend Russ Legier. I'm your assistant minister here, and I'm also thrilled to be with you. And if you happen to be joining us for the first time or the first time in a long time, we especially want to welcome you. We've been so thrilled to see so many new faces here in our center, as well as a lot of faces we haven't seen in a long time. So thank you for sharing this Sunday with us. Also, thank you so much to our amazing live stream viewers. We are so grateful that you're sharing this time with us online. Some of you share this time with us online from all across the world. So we're really grateful to have you. And live streamers, if you do love watching us online, please consider sharing our stream with your friends, with your family, with people you don't even know off the street, so that we can get the word out about our wonderful live stream. Our crew does such a good job on it, and we just want everybody to be able to access this teaching. So thank you for sharing. If you are new here, we recognize that it might be challenging sometimes to find ways to connect. And I remember the first time I walked into my very first Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm like, who are all these people, and why are they trying to hug me? But luckily, there was an information desk there, just like we have here, that could point me in that right direction and also explain why everybody was trying to hug me, which was love. That was the answer, right? And so you can check that out there. And we also have our monthly bulletin that you can get online, as well as at our information desk, that contains everything that's going on throughout our center that can help you to get plugged in to find out whatever it is that you're looking for, whether it might be a class, it might be an event, it might be a circle for spiritual connection. There's a lot of different ways for you to get plugged in at our center. Also, if you are new and you're wondering what we're all about, we also have a pamphlet called What We Believe at our information desk that you can get on the way out. Online viewers, you can send an email to our Chief Operating Officer, Linda Han, and she will send you a PDF copy of that. And that's a great summary of all of the things that we teach with our Science of Mind teaching here at the center. So if you're kind of trying to, get your toes wet a little bit and see if this is for you, that's a really great way to get an overview of our beliefs. We also have a wonderful youth and family program available for you here. Our teen program started up again this month and is going on at our 11 a.m. service, as well as our toddler, elementary, and middle school programs. Those are all happening at 11 a.m. here at our center. So if you have kids that you want to, find spiritual education, just drop them off a little bit before 11 to get them all checked in. And our youth coordinator is not here today. She should be back next week, but you can send her an email to youth@cslsr.org, and she will answer any questions that you have about youth and family. Also, we have a need for volunteers for youth and family. Our volunteers are what help make this program successful and help it to grow. So if you have worked with children before, if you have an interest in working with children at any age level, please send an email to youth@cslsr.org. There's also a sign-up sheet at our information desk that you can put down your contact information, and we'll get in touch with you about the next steps for that. We love our youth volunteers, and we know that the more volunteers we have with youth, the more that we can do with this program. So I hope that you will consider helping out there. All right, so let's dive into our juicy good stuff, yeah? Here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa, we are motivated by a vision of a healthy, loving world. It is known as the Global Vision, and it calls us to imagine a world that works for everyone. And we envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging, a world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement, and justice. And we accomplish this vision through the practicing of our 4 primary values here at the center. And would you please read those out loud with me? Spiritual living, integrity, love, compassion. So I know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, the prayer, the practices, and Dr. Edwards' message today is exactly what you are looking for the next step of your spiritual journey. Please know that you are so welcome here. Now please enjoy some music before our time of silent contemplation.
As I say a tender yes to everything that comes to me, my heart is open, I am free. I open to all that is, it brings me to my knees. I surrender, I am peace. As I say a tender yes to everything that comes to me, my heart is open, I am free. Me to my knees. I surrender, I am peace. I surrender.
It is in this stillness, this quietness, this solitude, in which I recognize this one source of life, this one love, this one beauty. It is that which we live in, move and have our being. It is our sustenance. It is our guidance. It is that which causes me to be. I recognize that I am and we are an expression, a unique emanation of the Most Holy. For we are that itself. And so I speak my word today for our time together. I speak a word of love, of oneness, of compassion and care, of recognizing that which we desire, we need, we want, we call for, is supplied, is present, right here, right now. I'm grateful, thankful, in love with the fact that we get to be one. I release this word into that dynamic of God that simply does, and I let it be, and so it is. Good morning. My name is Lawrence Edwards, and I am a practitioner here at the center. Please join me in saying our today's affirmation. I shine my unique light on life's center stage.
This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice, the sound of one who makes a choice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of voices too. The sound of me singing with you, helping each other to make it through. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices three, singing together in harmony, surrendering to the mystery. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of all of us, singing with love and the will to trust. Leave the rest behind, it'll turn to dust. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of all of us. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This is the sound of one voice, one people, one voice, a song for everyone.
How beautiful is that? Well, good morning, everyone. Last week we had a new member orientation class where we introduced people who want to be members of the center into the inner workings of what it takes to run the center, and we added on some new members, and it was delightful to do that. And I'm reminded that during the years of the pandemic, we offered those membership classes online, and we picked up some people from all over the globe. Indeed, we had a member find us online and join us all the way from the United Kingdom. And he's here today visiting with us, right here in the front row, Rich. Welcome, Rich, and please be sure to say hello to him. Overwhelm him with that love you heard Reverend Russ talk about this morning. As an introvert, I would be terrified by this announcement. So I apologize in advance. The topic today is lights, action, camera, which got me to think about the great legends of the movies. You know, those great movie stars that have gone on already, but left their stamp on the world, like Gloria Swanson. Some of you might know who I'm talking about. 1899 to 1983, who apparently said these words: "Long before there was a Hollywood that made stars, there were stars who made Hollywood." Yeah, I've been trying that on for life. I applied it even to our center, thinking long before there was a center for spiritual living, there were people with a passion in their hearts, with compassion and vision and creativity, who had the idea of creating a spiritual community in Sonoma County where people could learn to express their spiritual magnificence. And it took those people and the light within them to step forward onto the stage of life and act, to bring something new into being, to create something different. And I'm sure glad they did some 65 years ago. And I'm just as glad that you are here today doing the same thing, stepping forward into the light and expressing something that for future generations will be a blessing. Now, this month we're talking about that light within us. And by light, I mean the spiritual energy that is within us, that energy that is compassionate and clear and calm and accepting. It's that something within that is nurturing and connected and creative and confident. And I call it spirit within, or the light within. And I know that when I am tuned into that light, that's when I become consciously synced with its nature. And then my words, when they come out of my mouth, they match its clarity. And then my actions, when I perform them, they match the energy of that spirit within. And I want more and more of that in my life. And I want it for you and the world too. Now, before I heard that Gloria Swanson quote, I didn't think about how stars created Hollywood, because I had imagined it the other way, that Hollywood created the stars. And it got me to thinking about how many times in my life I let other people, organizations, things, events make me, create me, shape me, influence me. And now I'm starting to think of it the other way around. There is a light within me, just as there is within you. A light within me that is creative. And when I tune my awareness into it within me, and I sync my mind and my body with its energy, that is when I can step out onto the stage of life and bring into the world that which is more like the energy of light within me. And that's when I cause more and more joy and connection and less trouble and harm. Another legendary actress, the American Armenian actress Arlene Francis. Anybody remember her? Oh my goodness. She Well, listen to what she said, these famous words. Life is the best party I've ever been invited to. I want to adopt that attitude permanently. I want to accept life's invitation to the party and to live more soulfully and more connectedly and more fully. Now, Gloria Swanson, who I mentioned earlier, she seemed to have accepted that invitation to life, to live, because she behaved as if she believed anything was possible. She wasn't afraid to try new things. Indeed, she risked easily. She got into moving pictures at age 14. And then she transitioned to the stage at 43. And then at 52, she pivoted and got into fashion. And then at 80, she painted her first ever painting, which became a stamp that commemorated the United Nations Decade for Women. She wasn't done. At 81, she published her memoirs. And I'm saying that, telling her story, because I'm hoping that today's message will awaken in me and in you the desire to accept life's invitation to the party and to live more soulfully and more creatively and more deeply, no matter what age and no matter what is going on. Because isn't it the case that things are always going on? Things that have the potential to block us and stop us and hold us back and irritate and confuse us. They're always going on. There's always something. Another legend, Spencer Tracy, 1900 to 1967. For example, he was so sick during the making of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner that he couldn't be insured. And they had to put his salary in escrow in the case that he didn't make it through the end of the filming, and they had to hire somebody else. But he made it. Well, here's another little known, maybe you know, a legend, Peter Lorre, 1904 to 1964. He was the Hungarian-American actor who acted in The Man Who Knew Too Much. These are great movies. He could speak 3 languages, Hungarian and German and French, but he couldn't speak English. But he wouldn't let that stop him. He learned the lines for his part phonetically, so he could get up and say things he might not have known what he was saying. How about that? But what about more recent times, like Tina Turner? Made her transition on May 24th. Oh my God, a symbol of talent triumphing over adversity. Someone who prevailed despite physical abuse and recreated herself by overcoming the adversity so that she could earn her freedom and inspire the world with, dance moves that in turn inspired everyone from Mick Jagger to Beyonce. Oh my goodness. And what about Taylor Swift, who overcame a struggle with an eating disorder to claim her power, and she claimed further power by re-recording and remastering her previous hits to regain control of her artistic creations? Yeah. And also, we can use our light not only to triumph personally, but also to help other people, to help them move through hardships. Like, here's a good one, Margaret Hamilton. Yeah. 1902 to, actually not too long, 1980s, I think, she passed away. She was the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz. She was also a kindergarten teacher, and she used her fame extensively to benefit animals and children, and she was known for having a lifelong passion for public education. And Clark Gable, 1901 to 1960, known as the King of Hollywood, co-star of Gone with the Wind, when he discovered that the bathrooms on the film set were segregated white and colored, he used his position and his celebrity to put his foot down and demand that the set be desegregated. Yeah. I love learning about people who accept life's invitation to the party and thrive in the presence of hardships. Because, hardships come in all shapes and sizes, from difficult relationship communications breakdowns to unplanned changes in employment or resources, to unexpected misfortunes. And hardships happen to everyone, famous or not famous, spiritual or not spiritual. And they can be complex. They can have their roots in unjust social structures that are beyond a person's ability to control. Or they can be the ordinary accumulation of life's inconveniences that get heavier and heavier and weigh a person down to the point of wanting to give up. And getting through adversity, is not always a simple case of giving yourself a pep talk or saying an affirmation. It is true, however, that when I am tuned into that compassionate place within, the seat of peace within, the clear center within, it is the case that that is when my words and my actions become clarified and matched to its energy. And that is when I am more able to move through the hardships of life with more dignity and more clarity of mind and more courage. Tuning into the self within me, that is one of the ways that I can accept life's invitation to the party. And that's why I love the Center for Spiritual Living. Because it's at the Center for Spiritual Living that I learned these practices that help me to keep refocusing my mind on that light within with regularity. Practices that calm my mind and regulate my emotions, such as journaling and art practices, sitting, walking in nature, reading, listening to audiobooks, contemplating, prayer. And these tools have really helped me get through spiritually desolate times. I remember such a time, one in particular, in my youth, a very dark time for me. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know if I was going to be making it through to the other side. It felt that dangerous. And my mind just was swinging as if by a force all of its own obsessively swinging towards worst case scenarios over and over again. I was new to this teaching, and I had read that by refocusing my mind on that presence within, I could carve out some space for the light to re-emerge, to come shining through. And I had learned in classes that repetition plus emotion plus imagination is a recipe for new creation. And because I had no other hope and no other option, I threw myself into the practice with passion. The practice of silently, inwardly repeating statements of spiritual truth. And I remember very clearly that the world seemed so difficult for me at the time that I went to an Olympic-sized swimming pool in Los Angeles area, and I put the book of affirmations at the end of the pool, and I read one, and I swam to the other side, saying it over and over to myself so that the water could still the sound of the world, and come back to the other side and look for the next one. I did it over and over and over again until I could feel the re-emergence of that seat of compassion within me. And I also learned that there are times when we just can't get there by ourselves. I learned that if I can't get there by myself, if I can't do the work for myself, I can still get the support of the spiritual community. Like right here, through the after-service in-person prayer or the online Zoom prayer that is available. I often urge people at the end of the service or when I meet them to use that service, to try it out, to take advantage of it. And typically when people finally do try it out, they'll come and say to me, "Oh my goodness, I don't understand why I waited so long to give myself that gift." And I ask them, why? And they say something like, "Well, it feels so supportive and so nourishing. It builds so much self-courage to have somebody sit with you and see you as the light that you are despite what is going on in your life." I love that, because to me, that is exactly how Spirit or the universal mind sees us. The universal power that creates already sees you and me as being innocent, worthy, unique, a star. Even when we forget that for ourselves, even when we wander from our true nature and travel to a distant land in consciousness. We talked about that just this past Wednesday evening at the 7 p.m. in-person service. We used the parable of the prodigal child. The child who wanders away and wastes their resources and gets all mixed up with the wrong crowd and does the wrong thing and probably using and losing their dignity and their hope with it and hits the lowest of the lowest. And then down in the dirt in consciousness, penniless and hopeless, they start to make the turn, the inclination to go home. It's the metaphor to return to the seat within. And that moment of turning, it represents for us that moment when maybe you've had it, when you know it's time to return to wholeness, but maybe not yet believing that it's possible, but still hopeful. And then, according to the story, as they are getting home, turning towards home, the parent sees them, in the words of the story, the parable, sees them from afar. That phrase in the story is so important. The parent in the story is the wisdom center within. And seeing from afar means that the creative intelligence of the universe recognizes them and knows their innate, essential, true self, even from a distance. In other words, no matter how far we stray from our nature, it within us recognizes us, not because of our circumstances, not because of our triumphs, not because of our good luck or poor fortune, but because of the light that we share in common with it. I can see how we are the child in that story from time to time, perhaps starting off in life as a bright light, and then as we get older, letting the Hollywoods of our life shape us, the circumstances of our world create us, perhaps the disappointments and the challenges, and through them getting to the point where we may have forgotten what lives inside. And for that reason, I believe, we may turn to places just like this Center for Spiritual Living to remember together, to come back to our senses together, and to accept life's invitation to the party anew, and to be reminded that we are so much more than our circumstances, because we carry within us something that is holy, precious, beautiful. When the master teacher, Jesus of Nazareth, was teaching his followers to do good works in the world, He said it like this in the King James Version: "Let your light so shine that it glorifies that which created you." I'm going to take that with me by asking myself, what am I going to do with this light today? Because what you and I do with that light, well, it's your delightful, surprising, unique gift to the world. And it might be as straightforward as surviving another day. And it might be as meaningful and deep as raising a child all by yourself. Or it might be as poignant as caring for a parent. Or it might be navigating a health challenge with dignity and courage. And it could be something that nobody will ever know about. Maybe something small or something large. But it will be you from the light within you. Nelson Mandela, in his 1994 inaugural speech, he quoted Marianne Williamson. Here's part of it. "There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of the light that is within us. It's not just in some of us. It's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." This month, we are honoring the light that is within us, whether we experience it as large or small, or are on the path of reacquainting ourselves with it. We are turning to that spiritual energy within us, remembering its nature: calm, clear, compassionate, accepting, tuning into it through our practices so that it may indeed guide us and inspire us to accept life's invitation to the party and to thrive by being what we are created to be. I invite you to take a breath in with me and to exhale, letting your eyes close if that feels appropriate, so that we can engage in a moment of spiritual practice. There is only one light that is the source of all that is. The spiritual energy that is creation, creator. That which is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That from which all things come. The seat of peace. The seat of consciousness, the all that is. Eternal, immortal, everywhere present, beyond words to describe. I am of that, as is each person in this room. I experience it today as being that spiritual energy within me, the self within me, and I recognize it in all who come into my atmosphere, physical or thought. Feeling this kinship, this spiritual kinship with all, then, I realize that this journey that I am on is one of revealing wholeness. And so I declare in consciousness that I'm ready and willing and able to take a step into the light safely, securely, to reveal that which I did not create but which lives in me, through my actions and my words, through my thoughts and my deeds. And I depend on that light of compassion within me to guide me into right words, right understanding, generous assumptions, kind-hearted thoughts. And in gratitude for this word spoken and this shift in awareness that is already taking place. I release this word into that aspect of the divine that we call the law by saying together, and so it is. I invite you to take another breath with me like this, and to sigh as we make the transition to that part of our time together where we practice that set of spiritual practices called circulation. Particularly this part of the service is where we contribute financially to our center. But before we do that, I invite you to think of a moment where you contributed to the center in a different way, perhaps by a kind-hearted thought for and about the community, or perhaps you volunteered and showed up to help make something happen in a kind-hearted, beautiful way. And then think with me also a time when you received from the center. Perhaps somebody in the community was there for you when you needed a helping hand or a kind word or a loving embrace, or an encouragement. It could just be you heard a song or a lyric or a word in a class that made a difference for you. And then think with me about gratitude, all the things in your life that you are grateful for, in particular as they relate to the center. Because circulation includes giving, receiving, appreciating, acknowledging, beautiful energies that keep us in the flow of life. There are all kinds of ways to contribute financially to the center. So many people are enjoying text to give. It's increasing in popularity. And other people enjoy the more conventional ways, which can be found on our website. You can even set up an automatic way to contribute to your center completely in your control. That's particularly beneficial to us so that we can plan around what contributions we know may be coming in. And some people enjoy the physical ritual of participating as the basket goes around. And it's for that reason that we print the coupons that say, I give digitally. Has anybody got one in their hand? So there you are. So you can pick one up on the way in, and then as the basket comes around, drop it in as a symbol of a contribution already made or your heart connection to the center. However you participate or contribute to the center, I thank you. I thank you on behalf of the community 65 years from now, who will be sitting somewhere going, oh, I wonder who those people were who created the Center for Spiritual Living way back there in 2023, created it anew. I invite you to take your gift in your hand or to place your hand on your chest as a symbol of your heart connection to the center. I ask the ushers to please stand, and won't you say with me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does amazing work in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gift.
It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us. I just remember, it's like I've been sleeping for years. I'm not awake as I can be, but my seeing's better. I can see through
through the tears, I've been realizing that I bought this ticket and watching only half of the show. But there is scenery and lights and a cast of thousands who all know what I know, and it's good that it's so. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us, by and by.
Well, thank you again for all the gifts that you give us, whether it's financial, whether it's through your volunteering, or as Dr. Edwards said, just sharing those kind thoughts about the center with us. We're truly grateful. Now, it's time to find out what's going on in our community, but before we do, I wanted to talk a little bit more about our youth and family program, so I can give you some context about why we're asking for more volunteers. The reason we're asking for more volunteers for our youth program is, one, we want to expand it because, of course, having a safe place for kids to get plugged into our teaching is a really wonderful thing. There are some logistic requirements around that, though, as those of you who have raised kids or have grandparented kids know. And one of those is that each of our rooms needs to have at least 2 adults in order for us to be not just in compliance with the state, but to make it a safe place for our kids. So that means that on any given Sunday, we need at least 6 volunteers in order to have our toddlers, our elementary, and our teen program. So when I talk about experience, the kind of experience we're looking for, have you been a parent? Have you been a grandparent? That's the kind of experience that we're looking for. And if you loved being a parent, if you love being a grandparent, then we would love to have you come and play with us, because our all of our youth volunteers, they just have a wonderful time with our kids, and they are helping to create that next generation that Dr. Edward was talking about, those kids who 65 years from now will be looking back at our center and saying, oh, wow, I'm so grateful that I got a chance to be a part of this program because it changed my life. And I know some of my friends actually have gone, they started off in Science of Mind and New Thought here at this center in our youth and family program. And they are grateful for that because it gave them the tools too to navigate this thing called our mind, this thing called our consciousness. So I'm very passionate about that, and you'll be hearing more from our youth coordinator, Jennifer Caldwell, in June. We're going to bring her up on stage. She already knows this. This isn't something new. So she's going to be sharing with us what's been going on now that we're coming up at that 6-month mark of having a youth and family program in 2023 after 2 years of nothing because of the pandemic. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what she has to share, and I hope you're all excited about the youth program too. And I invite us all to give a nice round of applause for all of the volunteers who have been helping out. Volunteers for youth and family, you know who you are. You're all amazing. We love you so much, and our kids love you too. So thank you. All right, so amazing things are going on in the month of June and next week. And the first thing I want to share is that we are going to have a booth, as we did last year, at Sonoma County Pride here in Santa Rosa at downtown in Courtyard Square. And so that means that we're looking for people who are willing to help out in many different ways. If you've got a truck, you can help out with helping us move our booth supplies so that we can put up our tent and booth. If you don't want to do the physical labor, but you love people and you love greeting people and making them feel welcome, then there's an opportunity for you to be one of our booth staffers to greet people, tell them how much you love our center. And we also have an opportunity for people to help tear things down. And I'm just really grateful that our bookstore manager, Alicia Carroll, and Sue Sandholm, they're helping to organize this. And I'm really grateful that we get a chance to be there and to represent our community at Sonoma County Pride, because if you didn't know, if you find yourself in the LGBTQA plus community, you are so very welcome here. I want to say that again, you are so very welcome here. So we're grateful to be at Pride, and yes. And we're going to have all kinds of wonderful goodies at that Pride booth as well. So we hope that if you can't help us out, please come and visit us anyway. It's going to be a great parade. It's always a lot of fun. And I look forward to seeing you there. Also tomorrow, please do not come to our office because it will be closed because it's Memorial Day. We are going to continue classes, though. So, for example, Dr. Edwards' last class, 5 Pillars of a Spiritual Life, is happening. So if you're already in that class, don't worry. The class is still happening. Our office will just be closed. On Tuesday, then, May 30th at 7 p.m., you can join our monthly World Peace Meditation. That has been going on for, lots and lots of years. I've lost count how long that's been going on, but that's a great way to share your consciousness about world peace, and that happens at 7 p.m., and you can join that on Zoom. We've got all the details on our website. You can just click on the picture of the Earth, and that will get you plugged into that. Also, Reverend Tara is going to be teaching our well-loved core class, The Essential Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes is the founder of the Science of Mind movement. He's the guy who started it all and the reason that we're all here. And if you want to learn a little bit more about him, you can sign up for Reverend Tara's class that's starting on June 8th. And in the class, you'll be exploring not just the life of Ernest Holmes, but also the teachings and some of the more, I don't want to say obscure, but some of the more kind of esoteric things, like the way that he evolved through his own journey. And there's a lot of useful spiritual practices and tools that you'll be able to pick up in that class too. So if that sounds exciting, Reverend Tara is here in the audience. If you're here in person, she'll answer any questions you have about that class. And you can register on our website by clicking on the photo of the sandy beach. Also, this Wednesday evening service, our spiritual support minister, Reverend Sciota Bell, is going to be sharing her topic, Reflecting the Light, on our larger topic about that thing that Dr. Edward is talking about within us, that light within. So she's going to be sharing that goodness with us this Wednesday. We'll have meditation music. The bread will, in fact, be back. I'm sorry, I wasn't here last Wednesday. I was on vacation. Oh boy, I'm getting the glare from Dr. Edward. Sorry. I'll pre-bake it next time. But it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time. Also, stay tuned to our Wednesday evening services because at the end of June, June 28th, you heard about this a couple of weeks ago, but the fabulous Karen Drucker is going to be presenting her Sacred Stillness Through Music. And that's going to be spoken word as well as community singing, and that you can check out on June 28th. I'm really excited about that. We all know Karen. She's amazing, and I think that's going to be a lovely time. And, of course, there is no cost for that. So it's going to be basically a concert here with Karen Drucker and spoken word and lots of spiritual practice. So I hope you'll check that out. And last year, many of you remember that we had a very successful community event called Sharing Our Bounty. And by popular demand, it is going to be coming back in July through October on the first Sunday of the month. So stay tuned for that. And gardeners, if you haven't planted your things to share for Sharing Our Bounty, now might be the time. Oh, I'm really looking forward to that. We have lots of good baked goods that tend to show up for that too. So if you're a baker, that's another way that you can participate if you're not a gardener. So just saying, we like those sweets. And starting on Monday, starting today, May 28th, we have something new for you. If you would like to share some insights that you got, those aha moments, or ask questions about today's message, then you're going to love this. It's a drop-in circle that's happening in Grinton Chapel, which is right behind the social hall there for everybody who's here in person. And that's happening every fourth Sunday from 12:15 till 12:45 p.m. So there's no need for you to sign up. We're just experimenting with this format through the summer to see who's interested in having a deeper conversation after our Sunday talk about the Sunday talk. So I believe Reverend Tara is facilitating that for us today. And we'll often have the speaker as well, who is Dr. Edward today, if you didn't notice. So if you are wanting to do a deeper dive on our topic, that's a great way to just be in community and hang out with us. So that's all that I have. Oh, wait, no, I've got one more thing. Our quilt raffle. You still have time to get your raffle ticket to win that beautiful quilt that's out there in the social hall. And there's our, you can kind of see the pattern there. You can purchase tickets for that in the bookstore, and that helps to support our amazing sewers in Project Sleepwarm, which is a group of members here at our center who they get together on Saturday mornings, and they make these quilts, they make blankets for those who are most in need here in Sonoma County. So they're doing really amazing work, and this will help to support them with getting supplies and all of those wonderful things that go into making quilts. So I hope you'll buy those raffle tickets because you can win that wonderful, amazing blanket out there. All right, that's all I have for today. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you very much, Reverend Russ and Lawrence Edwards and the musicians, and thank you for being here. And if there is something that is incomplete in you, or if you cried yourself to sleep last night, or if there's something you just wish to celebrate and have more of in your life, please go to the back there. There's a host, and the host will connect you with a prayer practitioner situating the chairs around the sanctuary, or go online to our Zoom room, and there you can sit with somebody who will look at you and experience you as the divine experiences us, open-heartedly, ready to custom make a spiritual mind treatment, an affirmative prayer tailored to your need and request. So that's available to you. And you may have noticed I've got a dressing on my hand, and so that I can just answer the question one time. I had surgery on my hand last week, and it's healing beautifully. So thank you. And so the dressing is on just to protect the sutures. That's what that's here for, and to prevent me from grabbing things. But it's doing very well, and very soon I'll be dancing with all the fingers moving. Wait, I've never done that. So thank you for all of the kind words about it. And now it is time for us to close our service. So please stand as you are able, saying, something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, life is in my body, and life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and empowered by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly, so that in everything that we do, or say, or think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. And let us close with song. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you soon.
I release
And I let
go. Let the Spirit run my life.